Well, hello, it's Kat Young, and I am here tonight to talk with you a bit about hotels versus Airbnb and why I choose hotels when I go on vacation. So I'm not going to keep you long. Let's get into it. All right. Now, look, there are a number of different websites that you can use to find different hotels, right? These are the main ones easy: hotels.com, booking.com, Orbitz, Expedia. I really like hotels.com simply because with hotels.com's loyalty program, you get, after 10 stays, you get one night free. And I think that that's really helpful because, you know, basically you're getting 10% off of every hotel stay, and then on that 10th one you sort of get it all lumped into one night. So they give you the average of those 10 nights, and you get a night free wherever you'd like to book it, whether that's for a staycation where you live or somewhere far away. So hotels.com by far is my favorite. I find that over the past 10 years that I've been using that website to book most of my hotel stays, it's been great. And then it doesn't matter if you're booking with Hilton or Holiday Inn or wherever. You know that you're going to get something back for your hotel stays, whereas points may change with different brands and things like that. So anyway, all of these have different loyalty programs as well, but these are the main players in the game. So this is where I usually go for my hotels when I'm looking for things. All right. So, oh, let's see, how do I put that back? Hold on. All right. My first reason for really loving hotels is you don't have to worry about chores. Look, when I go on vacation, I am not about trying to do all of this. I want to take care of myself. I like things a certain way. And I have traveled with people who they bring their own sheets with them on trips. They want as much from home as possible because that's the way that they feel most comfortable and relaxed. Hey, it's your vacation. You got to do you. For me, I'm going on vacation to escape all of the things I have to deal with every day. So the last thing I want to do is have to cook for myself or pack up a lot of different things. I might do like a quick sandwich for a picnic, but I'll be honest with you, I'm probably going to go pick that up at a local grocery store or at a bakery or something. I don't really want to have to be doing any sort of work once I am actually on vacation. At that point, I really want things on autopilot. And so I love the idea of being at a hotel because, there someone is going to come in and just take care of it. So if I get all the towels dirty, I can just ask for all new sets of towels. I don't have to wash them or do any of that. So I think that as a solo traveler or with a small group like your family or just one or two people, the joy and the relaxation that one feels by not having to do any sort of cleanup is worth it. And I think that there's a wide range of options, whether you want a more budget option or you want like true luxury, like Ritz Carlton Four Seasons status. But I just don't have to deal with it. I would rather tip you and just not deal with it than have to do it myself. So that is my plug for why I think, my first reason for loving to stay at hotels on vacation. All right, next would be I want staff available 24/7. Now, look, everybody's a little different. Some people are just like, I don't want to be bothered. I want to be, I'm private. I don't want anybody to know my business. So they don't really like this. But as a woman who often travels on her own or with just other women or a special someone, I want to know that someone is available to me if I need help. Maybe I don't feel well and I need to know where to go, where the nearest pharmacy is, or if there is, something available for me in the hotel. Maybe, some weird noise is happening down the hallway and I want someone to go check on it. It's just nice to be able to call downstairs and someone will be able to either respond to me right away on the phone or come up and check on me and see what's going on. And you don't really have that at an Airbnb. The whole purpose of going to an Airbnb is you want to be more of an independent traveler and you want to do your own thing. So I get that. You are probably going to be staying more outside of the city center. Not always, but often you're outside of the city center in a neighborhood. And so you are living with people who are, going about their business, doing whatever they're doing day to day. So you don't really have someone there to kind of check in with you and see how things are going. And you can reach out to the Airbnb host or hostess, but it's not necessarily clear as to how quickly that person is going to get back to you. So with hotels, you're going to get a standardized level of response. And hey, like anything else, some have higher standards than others. But at least you know that in general, if you go to Hilton's and you call downstairs to the front desk, someone is going to immediately come up if you are dissatisfied with your room, you need to make a change or something. Whereas with Airbnb, you don't necessarily have that same level of flexibility. So I know that maybe some of you are Airbnb hostesses and like, what is she talking about? That's not how I run my house. You know, when people come stay with me, look, I get it. And I am so glad that you are better than some of the experiences that I've had. I think that that is commendable. But again, I go back to it is just about a level of standardization. With hotels, it's a bit more clear what that's going to be like, and you have specific brands, and so that brand stands out as okay. I know what to expect if I go stay at the Hyatt, the Hilton, the Ritz Carlton, the Four Seasons, the Holiday Inn. Whereas with Airbnb, it is really based on the level of service that the Airbnb host or hostess is willing to provide. So I know that those of you who are friends with me on Facebook and just in life in general, I know you all are hostesses and hosts with the most. So I have no doubts about that. But I've just had some challenging experiences. Wait for that in another video, where I just feel like for me, it is just an easier process to know that I'm going to have a service available at the hotel, and I don't have to call and wait to see if I can connect with an Airbnb host or hostess. The other thing that I have learned is I didn't realize that I needed to do the same level of research I do when I'm looking for hotels as you know, put that same level of energy when looking at Airbnbs. I just thought, oh, well, these are people's homes. It's going to be great. No, everybody runs their household differently. So why would I expect that all Airbnbs would be created equally? Lessons were learned. Lessons were learned. So, yeah, that's why I prefer hotels over Airbnbs for vacation. Is that I know that someone is available to me 24/7, and it's pretty standard based on the kinds of hotels that I'm staying in. All right, and last but certainly not least is having convenient locations. When you are staying at a hotel, often it's going to be right downtown or right next to the beach. If you're staying at a beach resort, they may even have their own private section of the beach where they, you know, their hotel guests get to go to that area of the beach and no one else is able to go there. So there's that level of, you know, oh, this is all just for me. And if you're staying right downtown in a large city, well, the city is right at your door. So when you have gone out for a lovely dinner, it's not going to take you quite as long to get back where you're trying to go, depending on what part of the city you went to. So yeah, I just think that level of convenience is really nice. And again, when you are staying at Airbnbs, certainly there are some that are right in the heart of the city or right on the beach, but it's all about standardization, right? So often hotels are, you know, really great for those people who are going to a specific city and they want a more urban experience, or for those who are going to a specific beach and they want to have access to that right away. So if you were looking for something that's a little bit more off the beaten path, maybe an Airbnb would be a better fit for you than staying at a hotel for your next trip. So I saw some really great comments from folks. Let's see, hold on one second. So one of the comments that I saw earlier today was that, you know, some people really like to stay in hotels when they are just traveling with their loved one, like their girlfriend or their husband, but they prefer to stay in Airbnbs, or VRBO is another really popular house rental. They prefer to do that if they're going to be staying with more family members and they all want to stay together in a group. And I think that that is wonderful. I know that I have family members who've done VRBO in Memphis and as well as Miami, and they absolutely love it. So there are advantages to house rentals in that regard. If you want to all be together, cook together, you know, try and cut down on costs in that way, maybe an Airbnb is the better way to go. But still, I say, you know, I just don't want to have to deal with, I don't want to cook when I go away on vacation. But some of my family members, like, that is the way that they do deal with stress. It is stress relief for them to be able to cook for the family. So I'm like, God bless you. I love you. That does not sound like a vacation to me. But if I can benefit because you want to cook for me, Absolutely, I'm down for it. So, but yeah, like that's one of the key reasons people really prefer to stay in an Airbnb versus a hotel is that you can just all be together and there's more flexibility. You have a larger space, so traveling with groups it just comes out to be that much easier. There's also, let's see, what else did people tell me were reasons that they like to stay in Airbnb versus a hotel? Again, they want to live like a local. There's just that idea that if they are able to pick an Airbnb, then you're right in a neighborhood. So you don't have that sort of, oh, the brand or the label, I'm a tourist. It's not quite as obvious because you are, you're living more like people who are just getting up and going to work every day. Again, I think that's great. Let's just keep in mind what we're doing when we're going on vacation, though. I think that there's this sort of stigma of the ugly tourist, and people are so concerned about not being perceived as a tourist. But hey, whole cities and industries are built around tourism. Why is it wrong to be a tourist if you are kind and respectful and curious with a positive level of curiosity about learning about new cultures and different ways of life? I think that there's a benefit to being a tourist. So it's important to approach it with a level of positivity. It's not You're not from wherever you're visiting 9 times out of 10. It's not like you're going to visit your hometown. You're going somewhere different, right? So you should be open to new things and you should be asking questions. I think what people are also worried about is their safety and security. So they don't want to stand out and be glaringly obvious that they are not from around these parts, right? They don't want to be obvious with these huge $1,000 cameras and then get robbed. I get that too. The bottom line is I think you just need to be aware and alert. So again, if you are looking for a more local experience, then maybe an Airbnb is for you. When I travel, I know I'm a tourist, and let's just be real here. Nobody's gonna mistake me for being from Tokyo. It's possible. There are black people in Japan. I'm just letting you know. It's not likely that I'm going to be mistaken for being a local to Japan. So that's just the way of the world, and that's fine for me. I don't mind standing out, but I wouldn't put myself in a place where I didn't if I can avoid it, I wouldn't go to maybe a place where I didn't feel comfortable by myself, right? So I'm going to be a tourist. I just try very hard to be respectful, ask good questions, and think about how I'm representing myself when I'm out and about. And if I don't feel comfortable, then I try and find excursions or activities where I will be maybe with other tourists, going to museums or activities where I'm not going to be just by myself doing this thing and everyone else is local but me. So anyway, the whole thing about tourism, being a tourist, just stands out to me. Then the last reason that I know people had mentioned really liking Airbnb versus staying in a hotel is they like being able to be independent. They don't want someone knocking on the door asking them if everything's okay. They just don't want interference, and they feel like the options that you get with an Airbnb, they are varied, they're plentiful, and so you can really find something that suits your particular interest or needs when you're looking at Airbnb. Whereas, again, if you're looking at hotels, they tend to have specific standards based on the brand, whether it's a boutique hotel or your general, like, again, Holiday Inn, very good standard hotel. It's, that you're going to get all the basics that you need. But yeah, it's not as flexible. So if you are a more independent traveler and you want a unique experience, then you might fare better to look at an Airbnb or some other version of a house rental. That might be a better fit for you. Again, I go back to uh, I want someone to take care of me. I don't want to cook for myself, and I know what I'm getting with hotels. So, a few other things to keep in mind when you are looking at hotel stays or Airbnb. Think about reviews. So, when you're looking at hotels, you want to look at the number of reviews that people have. I have heard in the past, so for those of you who stay or own Airbnbs, you tell me, I've heard with Airbnb, people look for approximately 50 reviews or higher, just to know that at least that many people have taken the time to say, okay, this is a stay or a location that I give a positive rating. I think that that's very helpful. For me, if I'm looking at hotels, I want to see a consistent like page worth of scrolling where people are giving 4 or 5 stars, 5 being the highest. And just know that people are writing positive comments about their experience. Things like the food, or if they had food at the hotel, won't always sway me unless there's like over and over again people say, oh, the breakfast was horrible or something like that. But if people are saying over and over again that they felt confident about the service, they felt it was a safe location, those sorts of things, or they just give it 4 or 5 stars, I'm happy with that. Again, hotel brand, when I'm looking at hotels, very important to me that I understand what I'm going to get. So I don't look at hotels that are lower than 3 stars unless I know them. Like sometimes if you're looking at smaller towns, they may only have like a 2 star hotel, and it's perfectly fine. Again, it goes back to the reviews that you see for the hotels. I don't know if you can hear the siren blaring in the background, the joys of living in the city. Okay, so yeah, so star ratings I think are very important. If you're talking about Airbnbs, then again, I would say looking at the ratings for the specific host or hostess and making sure that they are people have positive comments about how they're received when they arrive at the hotel or arrive at their stay, that things are set up the way that they were supposed to be. So I think that that's very helpful. So the guest reviews, the brand, whether it's the Airbnb you're staying at or the hotel brand itself, like that they're getting positive ratings. And yeah, if I'm looking at hotels, nothing below 3 stars, because if we're going at that level, then I think that's a different experience, and you should be watching a different channel because that's not my vibe. I don't do that. So yeah, this is all I wanted to chit chat with you about today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please check out my channel on YouTube. And yeah, until next time, I will see you soon. Take it easy.